before in the name of the Honourable David Parker.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister of Finance, will total superannuation spending be higher than total education spending in the month of June 2016 using the same assumptions as his latest budget projections?
Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, I presume the member means some kind of monthly comparison, but the government doesn't have monthly forecasts for super and education spending. For the year to June 2016, total core Crown expenses for education at 12.42 billion are forecast to be slightly higher than total superannuation spending at 12.37 billion. Super costs are rising by about 700 million a year. Half of the increases come from the increase in the payment rate, and the other half come from increases in the ageing population.
Point of order, Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr Speaker, this was a question that was down on notice, which asked for a specific understanding using the projections, sir. It didn't ask what was held in the Minister's office. It was asking him to give a reply to a very specific question. Sir, I'd like you to rule that the Minister should have got the advice which would have led him to be able to answer the question.
And with regard to the member's point of order, Speaker's rulings are quite specific. Can I refer the member to page 167.5, which says a member cannot demand yes or no, which is, it's not specifically the same, but it does require a very specific answer. And the member who did respond in this occasion gave some reasoning around why he was not able to provide that answer, and the member has more supplementaries with which he can pursue that. A point of order, Trevor Mallard.
Mr Speaker, I'd like also to refer you to the recent rulings of Mr Speaker Smith, where he has said where there is a primary question, there is an expectation that ministers would get the material required in order to answer that question.
Speaking to the point of order, the Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, the member may recall that I answered the question by saying the government doesn't have monthly forecasts. So if we don't have the forecasts, then it doesn't matter how much notice is given, it's not possible to go and get them.
Yeah, the question was specific, but it asked for something quite finite out and 48 months out from here. The Minister has answered he doesn't have monthly reports. I think we will accept that that is a response to the question. And supplementary, David Parker.
Why did the Minister say at Select Committee this morning that to change the age of eligibility from 2020 onwards would not make any difference, when it would make superannuation more sustainable, would improve the government's fiscal track and would give New Zealanders proper notice of a change that Treasury, the IMF, the OECD and the Labour Party all say is necessary?
Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, that's not what I said at Select Committee. I did say it won't make any difference between now and then, and the member seems to advance his idea of increasing the age of eligibility as a way of paying for extravagant promises over the next few years, and that simply can't be true. Or is he suggesting he's going to cut national super before 2020?
Supplementary, David Parker.
Does he agree with the Retirement Commission's 2010 review that, quotes, decisions will need to be announced and legislated well in advance, and without this, quote, more severe changes might be needed to be taken later, putting the long-term future of New Zealand superannuation itself at risk? Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, no, I don't agree with everything the Retirement Commissioner says. In this case, the government's made its position quite clear.
Supplementary, the Honourable David Parker.
If the government's not looking at increasing the age of eligibility for superannuation, what does he prefer to do instead? Increase future taxes, increase future borrowing, or cut the level of superannuation and tax people more if they've saved more, or perhaps all of the above?
Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, we're going to do a couple of things that member's party refuses to do. One is deal with the large costs of long-term welfare dependency, and they are enormous costs. And the second thing we're going to do is grow the economy, because unless the cake is bigger, it won't matter how you slice it, people in retirement will get less than they should.
Supplementary.
Supplementary, the Honourable David Parker.
Given that within 4 years the cost of superannuation is getting close to 20 times the cost of the unemployment benefit, can't he see that this is yet another important issue on which his government is out of touch with no plan to remedy?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, no, I don't agree with that, but I'm intrigued by the member's continued references to changes in national super in the near term. Before the age of eligibility change he's recommending for 2023. If the member's worried about the rise in costs in the next 4 years, what action is he proposing to take about that? Let us know.
Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Could I ask the Minister as to whether or not it's a fact that the National Party is only grudgingly holding on to its present position with respect to superannuation, given its past record on this matter, because otherwise they know they'll be toast at the next election?
Point of order, Honourable Gerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, reaching for the standing orders, that question is completely out of order for both the answer of a question.
Yeah, I don't see the ministerial responsibility for what the member asked. Any other supplementaries?
Point of order.
Point of order.
What's the problem with that question?
Well, I've ruled that I couldn't.
I know, Gerry got excited when I said
responding.
toast.
The member should sit down. You've asked me to respond. I'm happy to respond. The member should sit down. I didn't see the ministerial responsibility, and therefore it is out of order. Question number 5, Alfred Naro.
Order.
A point of order.
He was asking questions on superannuation. I asked him a question on superannuation. How did you make that distinction?
Well, whether or not any political party ends up as toast surely is not a matter of ministerial responsibility. Alfred Naro.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Honourable Minister